Pasha Nuwajo Koniwala
I think it is not only, initially we thought it was lethargic, but obviously it's coming more across like a conspiracy at the rate at which it is going. It is so lethargic at a point where it is assumed that there was just some measure of restraint on the part of the government to actually confront the worrisome situation head on, but clearly seeing the trend at which it is going, where the government will today clearly say some children were abducted, and come to the fact of it, this is not the first time that the insurgents are abducting young people or even massacring young people in the northeastern part of the country. But this is just, luckily for Nigerians, has just attracted the attention of the international community and the whole world. And that is where the element of conspiracy comes in. Today, you will hear some members of the government saying they would need to bring back the children and then also fight insurgency. The next day, you are hearing some sympathizers of the government, some agents of the government coming to tell the world that the whole Chibok abduction is even a scam. And that clearly tells you that you're seeing the hands of Esau and the voice of Jacob. And that tells you that as much as possible, it is not only that the government is failing to bring back the children, it is also failing in its responsibility to even account to Nigerians, not only on the monetary commitment that we're making in terms of our taxes and the oil revenue, but also in terms of the expectation of the people. And if you see recently, the last statement by the chief of defense staff, to the extent that they now know the location of where the children are. That is the most unfortunate situation that we're going to experience. That is also the most sad aspect of the whole intelligence work that is happening between Nigeria and also the international community. As much as one is wary of the intervention and then also the entry of the international community into the intelligence network of Nigeria, it's also unfortunate that the security apparatus in Nigeria is not living up to expectation. And the conspiracy element came in again. It is rather unfortunate. It is not expected that such the high-ranking security official will come and tell the world and say, we now know where the children are. What we expect is for them to have condoned of such a place to the extent that even if you can't invade, like they said, but then you block access for all forms of essence or necessities of life to the insurgents. You don't allow water to go there. You don't allow food to go there. Then it will be obvious that within a short period of time, they will be smoked out of that their cocoon. But telling the world that we have identified where the children are is more or less telling the Boko Haram guys to move away from where they are. And then you want to suspect some elements of conspiracy. And I wasn't surprised when I heard the British military guys who are on ground, you know, condemning the CDS for making such a statement and affirming that as a breach of the intelligence work that the military is supposed to be taking forward. And for me, like I said, it is more of conspiracy than even more, but than lethargy. No, actually, the interesting bit is that this is one of the most hypocritical governments you've ever seen in the history of this country. You know, when kidnappers abducted or kidnapped the families of government officials, in no time you saw them at not only negotiating but paying ransom, you know, to free members of the ruling class. But now when it's the children of the ordinary Nigerians, they are saying we can't negotiate, we are not negotiating. What is the balance of force between the Nigerian government and the insurgents? Where is the balance of power? Initially, I was one of those who felt, no, okay, the insurgents have their backs against the wall, and that is why they are calling for negotiation. But looking critically at this now, the lives of these children are more endangered every day. And these governments have proven to not being only incapable of rescuing those children is incapable of protecting the lives of Nigerians. Since the last time these girls were abducted, we've lost several lives. The whole focus, it seems, of just the government is on the controversy and political statements over the release of the children. We're not even talking about protection of life and properties again. You just heard about the killing of an emir just last week. You heard about the abduction and attack on other emirs just last week. And that has been on. Villages are completely overrun by the Boko Haram insurgents. Members of the public were being killed. Viewing center, not only in Borno, you have it in Yobe, you have just yesterday in Adamawa, and you have even in Plateau still going on. So it's a government that is incapable of not only protecting the life and welfare of the people, but even further jeopardizing the integrity and the unity of this country. So for me, there's no hypocrisy around this other than where they're saying they won't negotiate. And you can see the government where it came out on May 29 to say that the government is ready to de-radicalize, rehabilitate, and reintegrate the insurgents, is coming back again to say that they never offered amnesty. And you wonder, what else is amnesty? What is it that the government has said? What is it saying again? So it's actually a government of denial, like somebody rightly said, and an inconsistent government. So for the interest of the life of those children, they have no other option than to immediately commence the process of negotiation and then having those children freed from that captivity, you know, that they've been subjected to in the last 48 days. No, it's not. This government has never been sincere. That is why the problem lingered for this so long. Rather than curbing the insurgency and then checkmating and restricting their affairs, you will hear handlers of government saying, oh, we have restricted them to 3 states. You know, forgetting that when it all started, it was just in 1 state and just a pocket activities in a number of states. But you're talking about where the insurgents have taken over 3 states. A failed government will tell you they have restricted their activities to 3 states, and you'll be hearing activities and bombing in Plateau. You have it happening in Abuja, and then an idiot in government will tell you we've restricted it to 3 states. And which 3 states are we talking about? Then we now to pick and as where actions are taking place. But this is a government that no doubt has failed Nigerians, has failed the expectations of the supporters, has betrayed the interest of the people of this country, and does not stand any test to confirm that it's capable of protecting lives and properties of Nigeria, of being sincere to Nigerians. Rather, it's been insincere even in the arrest of innocent people that you would see with the joint task forces, the parading of innocent people as Boko Haram members, the arresting of gun runners in Enugu or other parts of the country and linking them with supply of ammunition to Boko Haram. It's just the highest level of insincerity that you can expect from any government. No, did you see that's one of the things that actually became clear to many of them. That presidential committee was one of the most useless efforts that this government can embark on. It's just one of those charades that is associated with this government. With presidential committee to do what? You have military task force already in those states, operating 24 hours and under curfew, and you are sending civilians to go and do what exactly? It shows to you that the government does not believe that there was any abduction. The only underlying responsibility and assignment for that committee is just to go and ascertain if truly there was any form of abduction. And there's no basis for deceiving anybody. There was no other task. And you can ask yourself, what were they going to do? It was there. You saw the school under fire. You saw the videotapes by their political guy called Shekau, that is calling himself a religious whatever, showing the children with his armored tank, and then you still have a presidential committee to go and do what? Other than to verify if genuinely there was any abduction. And for me, there's nothing that is expected of the committee, and I think they've seen that it's just a mere waste of time that they have that committee junketing all over the place. It's very clear, you know, there's poverty in the land. There's absolutely absence of good governance anywhere, both at the federal level and at the state level. It is not only in the northeast, it is across the country. But it is unfortunate that these guys, just like you had with the Nigerians in Niger Delta, who then empowered them for political purposes, did the same thing in the northeast, allowed these guys to fester with the arms and ammunition that were used to get political office holders into office, and they fell apart with these guys. And the current government, both at the federal level and in some state level, found an opportunity of creating this seemingly insecurity situation that tends to distract Nigerians from the basic demand for the fundamental good governance and dividends of democracy that is expected of them. They found it convenient as at that time to weave both ethnic, religious, and political sentiment in their favor. And now it has completely boomeranged. So now the monster that they nurtured has come to consume them. So the only thing that can stop this is the political empowerment of the people. It is bringing the basic necessities of life across to the people. There's nowhere across this country that you can talk about free health services. There's nowhere you have free education except in a pocket of states. There's nowhere that you have even loans and credit facilities for young people to start up their business. I mean, we're not talking about you win that is celebrated by the president, which clearly shows that this is a government that does not understand the basic rudiments of governance. You know, there's nothing where you can talk about good roads and access to even good means of transportation for the people. So in the absence of this, if the Boko Haram insurgency is taking over today, there's every likelihood you have another group that will be disenchanted with the system, rising from another part of the country, based on the abject poverty and hardship of life that they are subjected to. So for this basic solution to this, without the social security and benefit for the people, then our days of this kind of insurrection are far from being over.